know you guys, you say it's so humid, but I like it.
So do I.
I'm a flip-flops kind of guy.
The beers are really good. The beers are great.
Indian Pale Ale, but in Florida. Works.
My name's Julia, and I was wondering throughout the series Before You Die, what was your favorite scene filming?
You know, I think I had the most fun, oddly I had the most fun shooting the trial scene with, I hope you didn't watch the show. I'll answer this for everyone else. You cover her eyes. A lot. Especially in my storyline. But in the trial scene, it was really fun to get to sit in a chair next to Charles Dance and Lena Headey and watch Peter Dinklage do his thing, and they had all these extras, and it was sort of like my first, the first 2 scenes that I had to shoot was like one-on-one with some of the other actors, and I was sort of putting a lot of pressure on myself, and this was my first opportunity to kind of like blend in with the cast, and they were all so fun. It sort of started to feel like camp, and watch everybody. And anyway, yeah, that was what I was saying.
I think there was just a bit of a scene in season 1 where after the Battle of the Whispering Wood, I think it is, and I come back and my mother's waiting for me. She doesn't know if I'm going to be alive or dead, and I'm galloping across this field, and it was all snow and ice, and I was at the front on this big white stallion with 25 guys on horseback behind me, and I just felt quite cool. That's what
Some of us ladies, and maybe a lot of the men here, were wondering if you wanted to take off your shirts.
I've been lazy this summer. You're not gonna be surprised. It's nothing too special.
Yeah, right. I've not been working. Do you know, that's the gift of Game of Thrones, is you can work out really hard for the scenes that you've got to have your shirt off, and the rest of the time I've got 90 layers on, so I can just eat here like pizza.
You can also revisit the show and, pause your screen or something. I don't know. I imagine Rob Stark would be like, dude, cut it out.
Rob Stark makes bad choices in love all the time, so
we'd share a beer, yeah, and we'd give each other advice. Be like, slow it down, and I'd be like, all right, well, if you do this, maybe she'll like it.
Project.
I am going to be shooting a series for Netflix called Narcos. Please watch. I'm sorry?
When should that come out?
That'll come out in 2015. It's about the takedown of Pablo Escobar.
I was wondering, what's the most challenging part of filming such a complex show?
there's a lot of things, and there's things that get easier. I remember when we first started shooting, the main challenge was dealing with the costumes and the armour and stuff like that, because you'd have a bunch of guys pretending to be really kind of manly and strong and Game of Thronesy, and then they'd see cut and everyone would be like, oh god, I just need to lie down for a minute to relax. So, that was one of the hardest things, is kind of trying to deal with a costume all the time and trying to kind of look mean when really you're just really weak and tired. And cold and wet.
Yeah. Or sweating.
Yeah.
Everything about it, the amazing thing was how challenging it was. There were a lot of things that intimidated me. I had to walk into a room with confidence. I had to jump into bed with a bunch of naked people. I had to fight a 7'4" man. I had to sass Tywin Lannister. So it was all like every single time I was like, I'm getting the hang of it. No. So it was, I never really touched ground and until I was done. And but it was, I mean, it was a life-changing experience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for bringing two of my favorite characters to life on the screen, like, so vividly, because it's awesome. I've never gotten attached to a character as quickly as Oberyn, though. And I gotta say, I was feeling pretty bad about it towards the end of season 4. Which you guys think has the more badass warrior attire?
The badass warrior what?
Attire? Like,
attire?
Like what you wore for your fight and what, like, Robb would wear to battle?
I don't know. I mean, for me, like, part of the whole Game of Thrones experience continues to be surreal because I get to sit next to Richard Madden, actually. Like, we've missed each other in seasons, so I was already a fan. And my sister, like, well, she does know, but she's freaking out right now because I'm on a panel with Richard Madden. So I admired his look. I thought that he was our hero, man. And I'm not really answering your question. You're just finding out. Just trying to embarrass Richard Madden.
It's working. It's working. I think your outfit was pretty cool for fight-wise. It's because our fighting styles are different, I suppose. So yours worked better for you. You were quicker and faster, whereas mine was kind of slower and just lugging a massive sword around. Yeah. I think his wins. And also, it won't smell half as bad as mine. Mine went through 3 seasons and it never got washed, so I tell you, there's a reason why it's kept in a glass box.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Was there ever a point when you guys were filming that you just like stepped back and like, whoa, this is way bigger than what I thought I was going to be in?
First time I saw the throne room, I was like, whoa, because, you know, I'm never supposed to be in there, and it was on set. To have a look, and I went in, and, you know, it looks massive on TV, but in real life it is humongous, and you're just like, wow, this is massive. Yeah, it was cool.
I had the same experience. It was the throne room. I got to be in there.
Did you ever sit on the throne?
Yeah. It's not very comfortable. It's very uncomfortable, actually.
I could never do it. I never
Stay in
allowed
character.
myself, not in character, but I just always kind of felt like I should never sit on it, so I never did.
And look where it got you.
Oh, dirty! Damn dirty!
Welcome.
I'm sure that little kid's parents also found out. What was it like trying to kind of get into character and kind of trying to tuck away the smiles during those scenes? Like, how uncomfortable was that?
Did you do yours?
I kept my smile.
Where did you film yours? Did you film yours in Ireland or
In Ireland, in that castle
really
that turned in...
cold studio?
It's in the brothel, the brothel, what is it? It's Peter Baelish's brothel, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the Red Keep. It was a castle that was like an hour outside of Belfast.
Oh really? I didn't know.
And it was a castle that had turned into apartments or something.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about now? But it was kind of chilly.
And it's funny because after about the first 10 minutes of total awkwardness when everyone's like, oh, the actors are naked on set, after everyone just kind of forgets and goes about their job. So you're just a bit of a prop standing there completely naked. People forget that you're naked and you're like talking to people, or it's supposed to be like closed set. And I remember I was doing this scene with, and they'd kind of forgotten to come in and give us blankets. So we just had to hug each other to So we're standing hugging, waiting for blankets. The blankets came in and say, okay, we're going to walk. It's supposed to be a closed set, so not lots of people around all the monitors. And I came round, and there was about 40 people by the monitor having lunch. Someone had brought in their puppy, and they're all chatting. And there are scenes just on repeat, and you're going, oh God.
I was with a group of naked people, so I wasn't alone. It made it easier, I think. Less attention on me. And I kept my pants on, so more naked than I was.
very naked.
Yeah.
Now that you're sadly no longer on the show, do you still enjoy Game of Thrones as a viewer?
Yeah, absolutely. I had 2 episodes after the one that I died, and I'm anticipating seeing my daughters in season 5.
I love watching the story. I still watch it. I still spend a lot of time with a lot of the actors from the show, which is mad because you're with them. They're going, oh yeah, that thing in episode 5 and this, and you're like, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me. So I have to kind of make sure they don't spoil it for me. But yeah, I love watching it.
Thank you.
I was wondering how you felt about Tyrion killing his father and how that would affect his character development.
What was the second part of the question?
How it would affect Tyrion's character development.
I mean, I think it's devastating. The 4th season really is a serious build towards that event, and for Tywin of all people to go on the toilet is pretty amazing.
On Father's Day, by the way.
Did it air on Father's Day?
Yeah.
So twisted. And I think that despite something that is amazing about the storytelling on the show is that no one is just a villain, and the relationship isn't just hate. You know, it's still a son killing his father, and that's probably something that I imagine will sort of haunt him, you know, for the rest of his journey. And he's forever changed, and I wait in anticipation for what's to come as far as his storyline is concerned.
This question's for Richard. How does it feel playing Prince Charming?
But he's not actually referred to as Prince Charming in the script, that's just a nickname. I wish I could tell you more about it, but I can't because Disney snipers would take me out of my room. But there's a glass slipper and there's a pumpkin, I mean, you get the idea. I had a great time shooting it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And it was nice to not be in a field in the mud, in the cold, talking about war. You know, it was kind of nice to kind of be in a warm palace at points and kind of enclosed that weren't filthy. So it was a different experience, but yeah, I loved it. I hope you enjoy it. I'm seeing it next week for the first time, so fingers crossed it's good.
Do you guys ever get uncomfortable with how sexy you guys really are?
Seems like a challenge.
My mother's in the audience.
Mine's not. Do I ever get uncomfortable with how sexy I am? So bad.
How is he so cool?
I'll just say thank you.
What about you, Richard?
What's that?
What about you? Do you ever get comfortable?
I feel quite uncomfortable right now.
Just take a sip of the beer. When you first started on the show, was there any point when like the cast kind of all looked to each other and was like, this is something magical? Did you ever anticipate, you know, crowds like this and, you know, Pedro just went to San Diego, like crowds like that would come out? I know there was love for the books, but...
I never anticipated it, and actually we were just talking about this before I came in. When I first went to San Diego Comic Con and got there, and I'd not really caught up with it in my head. I knew, you know, I didn't get to see so much about those, you know, parts of the kingdom. I didn't see bits that weren't, you know, I never got to see filming or actually didn't get to meet. And you know, and for me, I didn't go down to Croatia and stuff, so all of the time I'm just in Northern Ireland shooting a television show, so the scale of it didn't come into my head until I was standing backstage at Hall H at Comic-Con that first year, and I could hear everyone outside, and that's when I was like, oh, God. I had to kind of put my head between my knees for a minute and just and take deep breaths. I was like, wow, this is massive. I thought it would be like a really great like cult hit, because the writing was so good and the concept was so great. I had no idea it was going to be as big as this, so there wasn't any kind of on-set like going, wow. And even, you know, it was funny, even going into season 2 or 3, you know, you kind of constantly feel like, oh, this could be it finished, you know, people might not like it after this season, or it might be rubbish, so there was never like we're in Game of Thrones and everything's great. It's always like, we've got to do it right, and, you know, all these people who've read the books owned the characters before we did, so it's constantly kind of trying to do that justice rather than kind of any congratulatory feeling on ourselves.
I am seeing you both right now.
You're trying to get us drunk.
And another.
I'll have one more. Thank you. Just pretend that one didn't exist.
Oh my.
This is directed mostly to Pedro, but Richard, you're more than welcome to chime in. How do you think the character of Oberyn, such as being a bisexual, affects the American culture, because he is so beloved now? And just your thoughts.
Richard, would you take that, please? Like I said earlier, I think that there's something really special about a character who makes no apologies for who he is. And I think that for him, he has a passion for living life the way that he sees fit, and that comes with the food that he eats, the people he's with, the way that he fights, and the people he loves. And as he says, what does he say? Then the world is missing half then everyone is missing half the world's pleasures. And I think that that's very powerful, to just have confidence in who you are and make no apologies. If you're not hurting anybody, love is love.
Would you tell the naked story? And if not, are there any other off-camera funny things that happened?
What naked story?
A naked story that you wouldn't tell us.
I don't know what you're talking about. I can't remember. There were so many.
There was so many.
Would I tell it? I didn't tell it yesterday. I'm not going to tell it today. What do you? What I think you're referring to was there funny off-camera stuff that happened, and what was an example? And the first thing that occurred to me, I don't think I can share.
Go on.
I think it just trust me. Leave it to the imagination. Richard?
This is all yours. This is all yours.
Second part of the question, are there any other off-camera moments that were funny that you can tell us?
The thing about Game of Thrones is there's not a lot of laughs. You know what I mean? Because people ask us, what's like funny stories that happen on set? And sadly, it's just really serious, because there's not a lot of laughs in what's going on. You know, like when my father's dead, and I think my brothers are dead, and my sisters are probably dead. We're not having a lot of laughs, you know?
What's your favorite part about your characters?
I think what I liked the most about him was his moral compass, how his heart was in the right place and he followed it through, and he always tried to do the right thing and did in his head do the right thing, and that's what ended up, you know, getting him killed. But he stuck to what he thought was right, even if it was going to have bad consequences, like cutting off Karstark's head. You know, that's really screwed him up, and, you know, lost, you know, that part of losing the war was that too, but he knew he had to do it, so he did it. So I think that was something I kind of respected and admired about Rockstar.
What about you, Pedro?
My robe. You're welcome.
What up, Comic-Con? I had a couple SoCos this morning, not gonna lie.
Get it?
So, in all seriousness, this is for both of you stud muffins, okay? What is your favorite cocktail and when can I get you one?
I don't drink.
You're trying to get us drunk.
I understand that.
I'll have one more. Just pretend that one didn't exist.
You got a beer? We got a beer?
I'm easy. It's a whiskey on the rocks.
Oh, whiskey. I'm down for that. You got it.
Tequila.
To kill her.
Yeah.
No tequila.
No tequila.
Thank you guys.
What would you both say is the most rewarding and challenging thing about being an actor?
There's lots. There is. I'm not just kind of getting an easy way out. There's lots of things about it. One of the things that I find really rewarding and challenging is the traveling I do with it. Because you go to so many places, that's really rewarding, but also challenging because you're by yourself a lot of the time. You don't know anyone, you're in a foreign country. So like that's a kind of off-screen reward and challenge that happens all the time.
The rewarding aspect of it for me, I think, is the people that you get to work with. You know, you sort of assemble these families very, very quickly, and you get to meet really interesting people and travel with them, do a crazy scene with them, and you make really, really great friends along the way. People that I've met that are inspiring to me, that I've admired, or that you know, teach me something, and that's definitely with like the most invaluable. That's the most valuable experience for me. And then challenging, it's you never know what's next, and you always want more.
Thank you guys so much. All right, everybody, that's all the time we have, but let's hear it again for Richard. If everybody could please clear the room through those back doors, that would be awesome.
Hey there, ho there, hi there. I'm Somebody47, and welcome to Vlogtastic number 2. And this week, we're doing the naked truth on the internet. If you're not familiar